Hey, William from Garner, North Carolina. Matthew here with freeprescriptionlenses.com, and with the help of my GoPro camera, I'm going to show you how I cut prescription lenses with an anti-glare coating for your Polo 2045. And of course, this is your Ralph Lauren Polo case, your Ralph Lauren Polo cleaning cloth folded up inside here. And actually, this is one of the largest cleaning cloths that any of the designer companies give you. But this is model number 2095, and of course it comes with a little plastic sleeve on the temple to prevent the temples from rubbing together during shipping, and you will receive all of that. But this is just a really nice brindle color Polo. Again, this is model number 2095 in the 52 eye size and color 5386. Hopefully you can see all that on the camera. But let's go ahead and begin. I'm going to take out your original demo lenses. One of them says Polo Ralph Lauren. I'm going to pop these out, and you're going to receive all the manufacturer's original packaging. And I'm going to place your frame into the tracing element of my edger. I'm going to wake this up, hit the start button, and the stylus. Everyone wants to know how does the computer know what shape lens to cut. So this stylus is going to pop up, and it's going to trace the shape of the right lens before moving over and tracing the shape of the left. Here at freeprescriptionlenses.com, where everyone loves a bargain and no one is disappointed with quality. You buy a genuine, authentic Polo frame and you receive free, clear, single vision prescription lenses. You pay the $40 upgrade to the anti-glare coating, and that's your only out-of-pocket expenses other than the frame. So this is the shape of your frame magnified. This is the actual size of it, that green circle. I'm going to bring that back up. Your pupillary distance for your right eye is 29.5 and 30.5 for your left. So while it automatically comes up programmed at 32.5, I'm going to hit this little minus button until we get to 29.5. I'm going to flip this over, bring up the shape of the left lens. There it is. And I'm going to bring that down to 30.5. And let's bring that back over for the right. And let's go ahead and prep your lenses. Your prescription reads -5, -1 at 005. That is your right eye. -5, -1 at 005. Hopefully you can see that. That's exactly halfway between 0 and 10. I'm going to take your right lens out of its protective sleeve, put it into my Marco 101 lensometer. I'm going to turn the power drum to -5 to begin with. There we are. I'm going to put your lens in and rotate it until the sphere power comes in clearly. I'm going to find the optical center of the lens, which is going to sit directly in front of your pupil. That is also the thinnest point of your lens. Check your astigmatism correction. I'll explain what that does later on. And I'm going to put 3 dots on your lens, which are a little bit hard for you to see, so I'm going to darken those for those following at home. And there is the one on the right, and this is the right lens. Let me do the same thing now for the left. Your left reads -450, -75 at 007. I'm going to turn that to 7. Take your left lens out of the protective sleeve. Put it into my lens up. Let's change that to -450, which is the prescription. Put the lens in, rotate it until the sphere power comes in clearly. Identify the optical center of the lens. And check your astigmatism correction, which is the cross curve. Don't you worry, as I mentioned before, I will explain that to you. I'm going to go ahead and darken the 3 dots I put on there so you can follow this at home. And where is that right one? There it is. There it is. And this is the left lens. Put the cap back on the pin. Let's take everything down here, including the flashlight. Turn that off to conserve the battery life. But the reason why I put those red dots on there, it gives me a 180 meridian, if you will. It tells me exactly where the lens has to be oriented in your frame. If it rotates, you're just not going to see as clearly. So those 3 dots, when I put it into the optical scanner, you will see the 3 dots there. That dot in the center is your optical center. That's going to sit directly in front of your pupil. Those other 2 dots, when they were on this meridian, shows that the lens is lined up perfectly in there. Hopefully those dots will overlap it. But so I need to attach this block to your lens. This is what I call Jenny from the block. But so I need a double-sided adhesive sticker, and I have 2 of those here. Get one of these ready. So I pull the paper away. Now there's a little silver button on the back. That is a magnet, and it does 2 things, one in the tracer, one in the edger. but I pulled the paper off to make this side sticky. I'm going to take that silver button, place it into the magnetic holder, and then when I hit that button, that arm is going to come down and place the lever. That lever places the block onto the lens. Let's do the same thing for the left lens. Put it there in place. Let's take the paper off. Have that magnet attached to that magnet and get everything lined up. Let me rotate that so you can see the 3 dots. Again, the blue cross is your geometric center. Your left lens is just instead of that. So I'm going to put your optical center there, and these other 2 dots are lined up on opposing meridians. Hit that button, the arm comes down and places the block onto the left lens. Now, the actual cutting wheel is over here. It's going to be on the far right. It's going to act like a heavy grit sandpaper to grind away your lens material. This wheel in the center has a little channel, a little valley. That's what's going to apply the bevel onto the lens so it stays inside the bevel of the frame. I'm going to take your right lens, and the magnet is going to go and hold it in place in the chuck, or as I like to say, the Charles, because I don't know the machine well enough to call it chuck. But I'm going to wake it up. I'm going to pull the shape of your lens up onto the computer. These are polycarbonate lenses, that's why it's PC. If you had different lens materials, I could choose from that. I am not going to polish the edges. I am not going to put a bevel on the front surface of the lens, but I am going to keep one on the rear. And this edger costs $40,000. I recommend everyone go out and buy one. It weighs 200 pounds. You can put it on your kitchen counter, and then everyone can cut lenses at home. You won't need me anymore after I demonstrate how to use it. But just like every other electronics, you hit the green start button, the door closes, a clamp shuts, and then the lens is going to move up, and 2 calipers are going to trace the shape of the right side of your frame. That is what your lens is going to look like, and it's measuring the thickness of the lens, a little bit thicker outward than the top and bottom, but it measures twice, measuring the thickness of the lens at every point going around, so it knows exactly where to place the bevel so your lens fits best inside your frame. It could be moved forward, it could be moved back, but this is to reduce any edge thickness that you might have. Although hopefully with your prescription you won't have much in this plastic frame, because it'll do a good job of hiding edge thickness, and this is a smaller eye size, which will help greatly reduce the edge thickness too. But your lenses are made out of polycarbonate. Polycarb is 40% thinner and lighter than regular plastic. It is virtually unbreakable. It is bulletproof up to 22 caliber. If it wasn't, could I do that? Yeah, see, I didn't think so. Or this. If it was bulletproof, can I not thump it with my finger and have the lens stay intact? Alright, William, I'm just kidding with you. But it also has both UVA and UVB protection. We know what the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays can do to your skin from overexposure, where your eyes are 8 times more sensitive than your skin. So you have permanent sunscreen for your eyes, unlike the lotions, creams, and sprays that you have to reapply every few hours when you go outside. This is permanent and never needs to be reapplied. Now, the other nice thing about your lenses is that they are aspheric. Aspheric, so again, not only are they thinner and lighter, aspheric just means it's not completely round. A spherical lens gives you that ugly fishbowl cosmetic appearance that you've seen in people's glasses who just buy cheap glasses. An aspheric lens is much flatter. So follow me with this. Not only is it thinner, but the curvature of the lens is much flatter, giving you a wider field of view, and of course a much better cosmetic quality to the lens. Now you also have the anti-glare coating. That's what you upgraded to. The anti-glare is actually 3 features in one. The first one, as I explained, it eliminates glare when driving at night, particularly driving at night in the rain. But from street lights, stoplights, overhead, computer screens, fluorescent lights. The second feature that everybody likes, it's an anti-reflection coating, and that's why it has the abbreviation ARC, anti-reflection coating. So when someone's looking at you, they're seeing just your eyes. They're not looking at their reflection in your glasses. Plus, if someone takes a picture with a flash, you don't see the flash lit up in the lens, you see just your eyes. And then the third feature that I like, the practical side, is it comes with the best scratch protection in the business. The machine that applies that coating to your lens costs well over $1 million. It actually takes 24 hours to vaporize 7 different coatings onto your lens. That's why it has that greenish hue to it. It does every color but green. Remember, why is an apple red? Because it reflects back every color except red, and that's why you see a green hue to it. But it takes it applies 7 coatings, and it has to dry between each coating, and that's why it takes 24 hours. And because of the time and expense of that coating, the laboratory applies the strongest scratch protection in the business to protect not only their investment of time, but money as well, so they don't have to reapply it. And of course, your lens is actually getting the safety bevel, or just the bevel applied to it, so it stays inside the bevel of the frame. Now, water has begun spraying on your lens. Polycarbonate lenses cut dry where plastic and high index plastic cut wet. Water is sprayed onto your lens in the last 20 seconds of the cutting cycle just to wash away any optical debris. Think of it as optical sawdust. Now, this arm that is moving into place, you see a spinning wheel, just like on a Dremel tool. That is applying the safety bevel to your lens. It has the backside bevel, but it's now smoothing out any rough surfaces that may be on the back surface of the lens, so if anything protrudes, you will not have a sharp edge placed against your cheek. Now, in just a moment, the door is going to open. I'm going to take the lens out of the the Charles. I do want to dry your lens off so it is not slippery. The other nice thing about your anti-glare coating, it's a hydrophobic coating, meaning that it hates water. Nothing bad is going to happen if water gets on it, but it just means water is going to bead right off. I'm just cleaning away any optical debris now. But the same way, when you wax your car and rain beads right off, any moisture or liquid that gets on your lens will do the same thing. I've just applied the lens to the outside corner, and pressing down, it snaps into place. I'm going to do the same thing for the left lens. I'm going to bring that over to L, put the lens into the Chuck. Thank you, Chuck. How about Charlie? I'll meet you halfway. I'm going to call you Charlie. And then again, hit the start button. This time the caliper is going to come in place, but it's going to trace the shape of the left lens. It's going to measure twice, going around the first time. And again, measuring the thickness at every point to know exactly where to place the bevel. And it just gets a second reading just to make sure that it didn't misread anything on the first time around. Again, it could move the bevel forward or backwards. But the reason it does that is that, look at the finished cosmetic quality. You have no edge thickness protruding outside your frame. I don't know if you've ever had a lens that fit in there so well, but that's how sophisticated this machine is. It automatically moves that bevel forward or back so that your lens fits in there perfectly, and you have a great cosmetic quality. I'm going to go ahead and take this block off. It's no longer needed. But see how flat that lens is, that front surface? You don't have that curvature bulging around anymore. When you buy glasses online, people charge you for plastic lenses. And then if you want to upgrade to the thinner and lighter weight polycarbonate, they charge you an upgrade fee for that. Then if you want the aspheric flatter curvature, they charge you a third fee. So this is someone else's top tier premium lens, which you get for free from me just for buying the frame. And again, all you paid for is the upgrade to the anti-glare coating. So I'm going to go over here back to my Marco 101 lensometer. I'm going to spin the axis wheel back to 5. I'm going to put it in just over this red dot, which is your optical center. Put that there. And I'm going to turn the wheel until I get -5. Check your astigmatism correction, and we are getting -6. The unit of measurement we use in the optical world is called a diopter, spelled D-I-O-P-T-E-R. It goes in quarter increments starting at 0, which we call plano, everyone else calls non-prescription. It goes up from there, 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, 1, and so on. You need 5 diopters of astigmatism. If this were a ladder, you're on the 20th rung of a ladder without your glasses on. Everything is much larger in real life than it really appears. So your glasses will minify down to the correct size. So you need 20 steps of minification. You are very nearsighted. From here in, everything's great. If you can't get your hands on it, it starts to get blurry. So everything reduces to the proper size. Now you need an additional 4 steps of astigmatism correction. There is a stigma over the word astigmatism. It is no big deal in glasses. It literally just means shape. It's like saying someone has straight hair, someone else has curly hair. That is it. It is not a disease. It is not an affliction. And everyone freaks out when they hear that word. This first number makes everything the correct size. This second number, astigmatism, is what makes fuzzy edges. That's why 6s and 8s look alike. The letters P and F, that's what causes people to squint, because they're trying to change the shape of their eye. So combined, you need 24 steps of correction to see clearly far away. Now this 5, if you think of a straight line, which is the 180 meridian, from 0 to 180, astigmatism is the fine-tuned knob. This just tells us where to turn that knob. And when we're on 0, we're just going to turn it to 5, with 90 being in the center and 180 over here. These first two numbers are real values that we should be concerned with. This last number can be anywhere from 0 to 180, and it really does not mean anything. This could be 5, it could be 95, it could be 175. It just tells us where to turn that knob so everything is nice and clear. Now your left eye is a little better. You only need, 18 steps of correction to make everything the correct size. You only need 3 steps of astigmatism correction, so you only need 21 steps of correction total. And this is actually very rare. Very rarely are people the same in both eyes, and even more rarely are these numbers close to together. Again, it could be 1, it could be 180, so to have numbers 5 and 7, it's just a fluke. It doesn't really mean anything. I just find it interesting because it's so rare that you see these last two numbers close together. But the reason why we ended up with -6, remember high school algebra where you add two like signs together? But I like to use today's relevant terms. Who remembers high school algebra? But if someone had borrowed $5 and then they borrowed another $1, they would owe you $6. That's where we're at, -6. So your left eye is going to read -450 with another. If someone had borrowed another 75 cents, they would owe you $5.25. I will show you that in just a moment. But for now, I'm going to take your lens out of the chuck. Thank you, Chuck. See, I'm starting to learn you. I'm going to use my thumbnail to wipe away any last second optical debris that could be left over, just a residual of cutting your lens. Optical sawdust. And I'm going to take your left lens. Let me grab your frame. I'm going to tuck it in at the outside corner first. Using my thumbs, I press down and it snaps right in. I'm going to remove this block. And again, no edge thickness there. I wouldn't expect it to be so because your left lens is lesser strength than your right, but great finished cosmetic value. As long as you get your glasses from me and take good guidance on frame size, you will never have any edge thickness. But I'm going to go back over. I'm going to spin the axis knob to 7, that fine-tune knob. I'm going to put it in over that red dot. And now's a good time for you to see how dusty the top of my Marco 101 lensometer is. But we're getting -450, which is the strength in your left eye. 3 steps of astigmatism correction, and we're at -5 1/4. $5.25 is what you owe me. Although you don't owe me nothing. But by the way, these frames cost $170. The anti-glare coating is $40. So your combined purchase is $210. And of course, it's free shipping anywhere in the United States. But your pupillary distance in your right eye is 29.5 and your left is 30.5. So you have a combined value of 60. I'm going to turn the card over, 60 millimeters. I'm going to place the 0 against my thumb on your right lens, and when we hold it up to your left lens, we're getting 60. So that is made correctly. The other thing I like to do at this time, while I'm cleaning the dots off your lenses, is to remind you that when you get these in the mail, and did I mention free shipping? Forgive me for repeating myself. But when you get these in the mail, there's a small chance that these will be too loose or too tight. However, there's an 80% chance that one side is going to sit higher than the other. That's because 80% of people have one ear that is higher than the other. And that's why 99% of all optical shops will do free adjustments. So just stop by your local shop should you need them adjusted. Of course, I'm going to get them in standard alignment, also known as a 3-point stance. The 3 points are 1, 2, and the bottom of the frame being 3. I set it on the counter and press down. There is no wobble. When I say wobble, I'm part of that 80%. My right ear is lower than my left, so when I press down on the counter, they wobble, but they sit level on me. I'm going to flip this over, press down, there is no wobble. I close each temple to make sure they overlap perfectly, and they do, that they're not askew like that. I check to make sure the tension on each spring hinge is perfect, and there is. So if anyone has any questions about what I can or can't do, just email me at freeprescriptionlenses@gmail.com. William in Garner, North Carolina. I hope you enjoyed watching. I love that brindle color in this Polo. That is such a rich color. I love it. I wish they did that in more frames. But I hope you enjoyed watching as I cut prescription lenses with anti-glare for your Polo 2095, size 52 in the color 5386. And everyone else has got the chance to see how I bring that love and feeling back to glasses. Thank you.